Make some noise for your host, Kid Copious.
What up, perps? Kid Copious, back in the bunker. Purple State Party. You know what we're doing here. We're representing America. The center. Common sense. And things that go bang. Shot that one way over the camera, didn't I? So anyhow, really excited this week because I've got a little special video that I put out, and I just thought I'd start the show by kind of clarifying my position on a few things. I've been consistently talking about the COVID as D-Day, Normandy, Omaha Beach, machine gun bullets raining down. You run forward, and if you get hit, you get hit. If you don't, you don't. You got a mission to do. And for us, our mission is feeding families, industry, making money, keeping ourselves happy, educating our children. There are a lot of casualties in this war. And, I've always thought treatment was going to be the answer, our way out. I never really believed in a vaccine. I'm glad we got one. And I'm glad that it, lessens symptoms to some degree. And, that's one of those things we're going to talk about later on, what you read in the news and how you interpret it. But, for example, they talk about people who have gotten the COVID and have died, but it's one, maybe two, three people out of 340 million something people here. The odds are against you. Are against the disease killing you. And a lot of times they just simply omit really important information. They leave out that one piece of the puzzle that sort of explains the whole thing because they've got a message that they want to deliver so that you click on it and they're going to bend the rules. And we know this, that they're going to bend the rules, And they talk, nonstop right now, especially here in California, about mask mandates. Masks don't really work. Wearing a mask like this one or even some of the surgical ones are, somewhere between 10 and 20% effective. So that's not really that effective. N95s, I don't think most people could handle a day in something that's that restrictive. But the masks that we're wearing don't really do much. Social distancing doesn't seem to have done much. The truth of the matter is, the way I look at it personally is nothing we did really helped. Now, you can come back and you could say, well, it would have been worse. Well, I don't know that. You could say that. And as we'll see, the media likes these open-ended type things, maybes and could be's and fantasies, But we don't know. We don't know if it would have been exactly the same or worse or maybe better. I don't know. I don't know. Soldiers were running at machine guns when they landed on Omaha. And, maybe the ones that went left survived and the ones that went right got killed. I don't know. It's a weird world we live in. I watch a lot of soccer. And the highest percentage penalty kick is actually just shooting it straight ahead. But because of the embarrassment of missing such a shot, soccer players very seldom go down the middle. They go left or right. But the goalie's going to jump one way or the other. If you go down the middle, you got the best shot. But that's not always enough. And common sense and realizing that what we've done, the cure has been worse than the disease in some ways, Suicide rates are up. Kids are drastically behind schedule with their schooling. Businesses have gone under. People's lives have been ruined. Not all of the people who died from COVID died of COVID. They died of a lonely heart, a broken dream, unfulfilled promises, depression, anxiety, isolation. That was the real killer. But they're going on now with the vaccine mandates. And I just thought, maybe I'd point out where right now they're not required to be vaccinated. The White House, the CDC, the FDA, and the World Health Organization. World Health Organization doesn't want us to get booster shots because other people haven't got their own shot. Why would we listen? And see, that's the problem we have with the leadership right now. The leadership that we have right now wants to listen to other people other than Americans. That's it. They care more about their worldview than their own citizens. You know, I don't want to placate the World Health Organization. I'm glad Trump had left them. We don't need them. We don't need people who just siphon off of our money and give themselves cushy jobs and run around telling people what to do. We've got people here who can tell us what to do. Maybe if we didn't have so many fucking chefs at the beginning, our soup wouldn't be so infected. I don't know, but that's what I think about, you know? I take the news, I put a little philosophical into it, I put a little bit of, mystery hunter into it, and sometimes I come up with some answers that shock even me. Now we got to move on to, what really happened this week. I call this show Critique the Week. It's a spoof on a British show called Mock the Week. That's one of my favorite shows of all time. I mean, I'm not going to get off on a rant about TV right now. But what happened the other day in Kabul that claimed the lives of our servicemen and claimed the lives of men, women, and children of Afghani descent. Even claimed some Taliban from what I heard, But these pieces of shits went with a suicide attack. And, my heart of heart tells me that from what I saw for 4 years, this wouldn't have happened under Trump. Because the Taliban knew that if they didn't get the shit on lockdown, and the other terrorists too, they knew if they did something like this, Trump would return, okay? Because Trump has a wrestler's mentality. He has a fighter's mentality. Hey, look, I mean, whatever criticisms you have of the guy, he loved America, and he was willing to do right by Americans. And I don't believe that his plan was to set a date and say, we need to be out by this date. I believe that he had a condition. Once a certain condition was met, we would leave. Now we hear the Biden administration blaming Trump, saying that, this is Trump's plan. Well, I find that kind of funny because Trump did a lot of things. He passed a lot of different orders, signed a bunch of different things, got us out of the World Health Organization. So how are we back in the World Health Organization? Trump took us out. Well, wait a minute. Joe put us back in. Joe undid a lot of what Trump did, for better or for worse, depending on who you are and what your ideals are. But for better or worse, he undid stuff that Trump did. This is his plan. This is Biden's plan. This isn't Trump's plan. And here we're reading that this is the first time our service members have been killed since Trump signed some sort of deal with the Taliban. A lot of people criticize him for that. He left the Afghani government out. But you know what? He didn't leave the Afghani government out. He knew the Afghani government was weak and corrupt. And they were weak and they were corrupt. He probably also knew that the 300,000 Afghani soldiers in the Afghan army weren't soldiers. They were people who signed up maybe for a paycheck, maybe for some of them wanted to protect their villages and stuff. But Afghanistan as a country, it doesn't really exist in the minds of most Afghanis. Most Afghanis are very tribal. This is not a criticism of them. This is the way people look at things. In our early days, in the good old US of A, we were 13 colonies. We were unified in a war against Britain, but it took a long time to balance things out because the states were still the states. Virginia was still Virginia. That's one of the reasons why we ended up in the Civil War, because the whole idea of this country, it wasn't that way. And it hasn't always been that way. Ancient Greece, ancient Rome, Rome wasn't the country of Italy. Rome was a city-state. Sparta was a city-state. Troy was a city-state. That's how it used to work, and it's a more modern invention of this idea of a country. There used to be empires and villages and city-states. And so their army was not cohesive under one banner like we are. We have come together, but although you see nowadays states trying to pull away from the Union. But whatever, that's another subject. This is horrible. This is what the suicide bombers did. These are the people who did it, the so-called ISIS-K. They're all over Trump for calling him ISIS-X. I'm glad he does. Fuck them. They don't get to choose their name. Yellow-headed assholes. How about that? That's who these people are. These are people with nothing to live for. They're willing to die in service of their God. For better or worse, that's what they're all about. And Biden just hangs his head. Biden just turns his back. Biden has proven that he is not fit to be a leader. His administration gave the Taliban the names of Afghan allies and Americans so that they could get through the checkpoint. See, idiots, weak people assume that if they're nice, the other person will be nice. It's not the way the world works. An asshole is an asshole. Being nice to an asshole will just get you taken advantage of, and that's it. Excuse me. You know, that's what happens. You know it from your own life. No matter how nice you are, you know, people prey on that. Gypsies pull off to the side of the freeway and try to sell you stuff because they've run out of gas, and they're like, oh, I don't have any gas. I'll sell you this gold. And then you go to the ATM, you give them $200, and it's fake. Okay, those are scams. Those are people taking advantage of kind-hearted idiots. I've got a kind heart. I help out. I've given the gypsies money, not $200. I was like, nah, dude, I ain't buying your gold. I gave him $20. But still, I got conned. And I know that the Taliban is going to do whatever the Taliban wants. Giving them names, idiotic. You know, absolutely idiotic. And what did it end up costing us? So far, it's cost us the lives of these servicemen and other people, you know, and more to come. Biden, you know, this is Babylon B, but this may be parody, but unfortunately, it's, you know, the truth also. You know, we are not negotiating with terrorists. We're just giving them whatever they need. Whatever they ask for, they've got it. People talk about all the money that we have locked up. Well, they're going to get all that money back. Yeah, they will. Watch. You just watch. This administration will turn over millions of dollars to the Taliban, who will become one of the largest narco countries, pumping out heroin, pumping out whatever else. The Chinese, both government and underworld are going to move in there. They're going to strip that place. Yeah, there'll be attacks and stuff like that. Good luck. Good luck, China, because I know you're going there. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, the Taliban says jump, and Biden says how high. And he's not wearing any pants because that metaphorically is where his brain is at right now. You know, see, Trump, I think, realized that he was dealing with a mafia, not religious extremists, not you know, God, this is bugging me. Not some sort of like government. He knew he was dealing with thugs in the Taliban, a mafia. And they only know strength and power. It's all they're going to respect. You see what I mean? That's all they're going to respect. Like, they, you know, he looks at them and says, hey, you've got some suicide bombers and some AK-47s. That's great. I've got cruise missiles. I got drones. I've got my Air Force. I mean, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? We could roll a division of tanks, an armored division up in your ass. We just blow away every house, dude. We got A-bombs. We got tactical nukes. We could just turn that whole place into a giant sandbox. And Biden acts like all we got is a slingshot. He's not fit for leadership at all. And then he comes out with this shit. Oh, we hit the guy responsible for the suicide bombing. Right. Like, how did we have that intelligence? All of our assets are gone. Nobody will side with us right now. Who's going to ally with us? Huh? How are we going to, what are we going to make promises? Oh, don't worry, we'll get you out of the country? No. He had a drone fly out and shoot 2 people. You know? And right now, the situation there is that Taliban is actually trying to hold back the terrorists. And you know why? Because they just want us gone. They've already emptied the prison at Bagram. They've got all the actors they need, and now they're ready to put on a show of how great they are, and they're just going to turn it into a narco state. That's what this is. This is no different than the cartels down in Mexico, except unlike Mexico that continues to fight back, power to them, mad respect, but there's no government there. The Afghani president fled the country, took like $160 million with him. And I believe Trump knew that. Biden probably knew it too, but Biden's just like, oh no, he gave me his word. See, that's the difference. Biden believes his word. Trump would never have taken the guy's word for it. He knew what was going on there. That's why it would have to be conditions. When the conditions are met, we leave. Not some arbitrary date. But Democrats love that. And they know how it's going to work. They know exactly how it's going to work. When they say things like, we would like to achieve an 85% graduation rate, teachers are going to fudge scores. Kids are going to graduate dumb. See, that's no way to run a government. To simply say, this is what we want to achieve by any means necessary, whether they're good means or bad means, just achieve it. We need to be out by this date. No, we need to be out when we're out. See? When all of our people have left, then we think about shutting down the airbase. Once we've evacuated our allies over there, you know, once we've gotten out all of our forces, all of our contractors, all of our spies, all of our people, there should be nobody in Afghanistan with a U.S. passport after a certain date, then you turn it over. Then you turn it over. Then you pull back. Then you abandon your airbase. Then you abandon the prison. And quite frankly, look, man, I'm a realist. I'm a pragmatist, and I know how the world is. And I'm pretty sure I would have dispatched a lot of the prisoners because I don't want them coming back to fight me. You know, that's a heartless thing to say, but it's a heartless world. And I've learned a lot from history, man. I've learned what happens when you send brothers or mothers off into exile. They form armies and they come back across the English Channel and they kick your ass. Look at British history, man. One betrayal after another. You know? And sometimes it was just because they didn't rub out the right people. But you know, Biden's got himself a little plan. See, he put the token in. He got all the points for having a black woman as a VP. With a dash of Asian thrown in too. Wow, that's really good. You know, so we don't want to impeach him and we don't want to get him out on the 25th because we don't want Kamala in there. The Democrats obviously are tanking her career. If she doesn't know that, she's blind. But one of the things that happened was because of the attack in Kabul, she had a split from some anti-recall rally she was going to have with poster boy, Democratic poster boy Gavin Newsom there. That fucking clown, that elitist scum. I'd give anything to punch him in the face. I don't care what would happen to me. I wouldn't. He's despicable because he's an elitist. He looks down his nose at us. That's just who he is. He's a spoiled rich boy. He's never done anything. He hasn't done anything good here. But she had to bounce on that. And they say had to bounce. See, this is part of how you read stories. She didn't have to bounce because of Afghanistan. They know that Gavin Newsom is tainted product. Hey, Gavi, you're tainted product. Your chances, those, here we go. Siri, show me a picture of 2 people who will never be president. Oh, look at that. And they know it, so they're abandoning him. Long and short of it, they're abandoning him. And, you know, of course, the media's not really playing this up too much, although, you know, because they buried it on the same day as the explosion. I don't think they meant to do that, but, you know, he had an affair, and it's refreshing because the woman at the center of it says that the hashtag Me Too doesn't apply to her because this was very consensual. I don't know, maybe she's just saying that, but if you read the whole article, you know, it seems consensual. It doesn't seem too creepy, which is surprising, but anyhow, you know, I don't know. The guy's a scumbag. Oh, there we go. Whew. Just a little break for you right there. A little Highland cow. Those are one of my favorite animals on the face of this planet. Just relaxes me. But we were talking about how to read the news. Capitol Police says Ashley Babbitt shooting might have saved the lives of members of Congress. Might have. See, might have. So now you can kind of write this story and just kind of hope that people don't really get the might have. It's almost like they hope those words disappear. Because I don't really understand how it saved lives. I mean, you can make the argument that, yeah, it stopped people from coming in and that might have saved lives. Okay, might have. We could have maybe not done the lockdowns and we might have been okay. Here's another one. So this is from Larry Elder right here. But why I bring this up is because they say that 2 members of the Kennedy family supported Sirhan getting out. But there were 6. So 2 said, yeah, let him out. And 6 said, don't let him out. But they report the 2 that said, let him out. Now this is on Newsom's desk. Sirhan killed Robert Kennedy. Bobby Kennedy Jr., I believe that was his whatever full name there. He killed a politician. And they're going to let him out of jail. Huh. Are we getting the point yet that the media likes to spin stories for the Democrats and the Democrats are just the scummiest of the scum? We starting to see that kind of. They're going to let that guy out of jail. You know, and here's another one. Like, judge strikes Seattle homelessness measure from ballot. Yeah, mean judge. They sued the American Civil Liberties Union, once again trying to make America worse. But anyhow, they sued to stop this. But the part of it that they sort of buried in this whole thing was that it wasn't legit. And that's just it. Sometimes things don't happen because of the way they're put into motion. But if you want a headline, you just say, oh, he strikes it. He strikes it from the ballot. Okay. Removes it? No, not strong enough. Strikes it. You know, they buried the Portland story. You know, this was a blip. The Antifa clashed with the Proud Boys, and of course they'll say things like, oh, Proud Boys rally explodes into violence. No, Antifa went there to attack. They were firing airsofts, they were firing fireworks, and eventually real guns. That's what Portland is dealing with. And meanwhile, in that insane city, and in California too, they're spinning stories about how mushrooms and LSD help cure depression. And I read an article about some C-list actress, and she tried it, and now she feels so much better. Meanwhile, in Florida, a man high on mushrooms goes into a restaurant to shoot a little boy, and the dad gets in between them, and the dad's dead now. On vacation, having breakfast with his kid, and some crazed guy on mushrooms shoots him to death. And we're like, no, let's decriminalize it. What bad had happened from letting people be hallucinating? I mean, it's bad enough they've stuck the mentally ill out on the streets to mingle with the rest of us, but now they want to create mentally unstable people by allowing them to do LSD and mushrooms. You know? So we're heading into my favorites right here. Taliban buys Hunter Biden baiting for presidential palace. Sickening to see them with those M4s back there. They probably got them because Biden's, again, Biden said you have to get out. They got out. So if they had to leave stuff behind, they left stuff behind. And then he turns around and he would sell the Taliban one of his son's paintings. Because it's just all corrupt. This is how corruption works. No, I didn't bribe President Biden. I bought his son's painting. I thought it was worth $1 million. Look at it. It's gorgeous. And then, Hunter gives his dad or his mom, a commission on the sale. It's not clear what's going on, but Kamala is laughing, so we're going to assume it's something really tragic. How's she ever going to be president? Look what the Democrats have once again done. They take credit for a black vice president. They take credit for an Asian Indian vice president, a female vice president. They take credit for it, and they put up the worst possible example they could find. So they get the credit, but then they also discredit all of those groups by saying, the last female we had as VP, that was Kamala Harris. I mean, I guess she's been a senator, but she doesn't have the chops for the job. She doesn't care, man. This is a paycheck. This is a hey, look at me moment. Look at me, I'm the vice president. But she's an idiot. What is she doing? I mean, what is she doing? Pence was always busy. Pence was doing stuff. She just goes around and laughs, and they send her off places to do their dirty work because they want to make her look bad. Remember when when the Democrat sales pitch for Biden a year ago was that he would unite America, calm things down, and help the middle class afford stuff like gas, housing, and groceries. Hilarious. What's false about that? What's false about that? There's nothing false about that. We're less divided. We are more divided now than ever because at this point, the folly of the Democrats is on full display. And whatever. He's killing the middle class. The Democrat Party's relationship with black people is like a timeshare salesman and the consumer. Lots of pressure to sign up, a ton of promises, lots of debt, and regret. Repeat every 4 years. Because they use you. They get credit for backing you. For backing minorities. Oh, we back you. But then, at the end of the day, they don't do anything because they want to come back around and go, oh, you've been kicked around long enough by the Republicans. We're here to save you. But then you don't do a damn thing. Republicans just say, look, you got the same chance as everybody else. What can we do to fix a problem? What can we do? The Democrats are just like, nah, just keep it up. We'll siphon you some checks. Young men and women want to serve this country. I was one of them. Honestly, I was 17 and I needed a signature and I didn't get a signature and I let my life fall apart after that because that's how bad I wanted to do it. And we've lost a lot trying to free that country. And it wasn't in vain because we gave them a shot. But they don't want to unite. I mean, we saw their army just simply lay down their arms and run. So we did our best there. And all you can do in life is try and give your all. The only real failure is not trying. And not trying with 100%. And some of them gave more than 100%. They gave their lives. And our president turns his back on reporters. And our president blames other people. And our president conspires with the media to try to cover it up. And to try to distract us from it. And to downplay it. That's who's leading this country now. Right there. The Washington Monument, the Jefferson Memorial, the Lincoln Memorial, Biden's Memorial. Yeah. Trump kept us out of wars. Trump was keeping a lid on things because people knew that Trump was a gangster. And this is a cruel world. And we need strong leaders. And we have by far the weakest leader we've ever had. He's horrible. I never thought anybody would be as just useless as Jimmy Carter. But then came Biden. This is what happens when you allow the media to play on your hatred of Trump. This is what happened. Whether it was rigged or it wasn't, Biden got elected and we are all suffering. And I will never forgive this. I will never forgive what the Democrats have done, are doing, and plan to do in the future. Because everything that the liberals and the left has been involved in has just been a can of shit. And now we're responsible for the death of our soldiers, and we are responsible for the death of Afghani citizens. Yeah. I'm still proud to be an American because we will fight through this. We will get through this, and we will come out stronger. Copious. Out.